Hello everybody, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news. How are you all feeling after yet another disappointing result from Manchester United's set of players? We're going to be talking about Manchester United and what deep trouble they're in. I've been on about this for a few weeks. I think we're in massive trouble. I'm going to tell you why. I mean, to summarise the points, I'm going to start off first of all. I think Manchester United typically have gone into a January transfer window where we knew we were going to be fighting for fourth and somehow amazingly came out of it weaker than we went into it. Massive problems compared to others, and I think Brighton will be a difficult game on Tuesday. Also want to talk about Donny van der Beek and what a massive mistake it was of Manchester United in relation to him. I mean, also want to talk about the Ronaldo situation. I think Ronaldo is a problem, but if you think Ronaldo is the problem, then football maybe isn't for you, because you are clearly missing some glaring issues that rank way above Cristiano Ronaldo. We'll also be talking about the fact that that United just seem to be playing like strangers, and some of the issues that Rangnick has highlighted after the game, which I disagree with, around XG and things like that. But look, you know what? We're used to this, and you know, whether you take into the result today, the result on Tuesday, where we're heading as a club, what we did in January, what's still to come, players that are going to leave. Donny van der Beek, Anthony Martial played well last night. I mean, Manchester United at the moment, they're making more mistakes than, I don't know, Stevie Wonder in a crossword. Like, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous how embarrassing we are. You know, I see people on social media before I go live. I just have a quick look to see if there's anything I want to add into the show. And I see people chatting about, if we get rid of Ronaldo and get this striker in and we get a new centre-back, I think we can really do well. And I'm like, do you actually sit down and watch Liverpool? Do you sit and watch Man City and Chelsea? You really think a striker and a centre-back is going to make that shower of crap into title contenders? Our immediate focus is to try and compete with Villa and Newcastle. I'm telling you now, mark my words, our immediate focus is to try and protect fourth over the next 18 months. And the Glazers will be aware of that as well. The club is an absolute shambles. I've got no interest in infighting amongst United fans, because right here, right now, if you're not scared about where this club's going and you're interested in arguing amongst yourselves, then you're a part of the problem. This is not now about, oh, Goldbridge said this, or he said that, or you said this, or he likes him, or he doesn't like that. This is far bigger than highlighting one or two players. This is a club in crisis. This is a club sinking. You know, we are the Titanic. In a couple of hours, we're going underwater. It's sinking fast, and moaning and arguing about each other is not going to help us. Highlighting that, I find it amazing. I find it absolutely amazing that people want to go, oh, he's the problem. The problem is the players that aren't good enough, of which there are many. And you've got to look at why those decisions were made. It's past saying Harry Maguire's the problem, Bruno's the problem, Rashford's the problem, Luke Shaw's the problem, McTominay and Fred are the problem, Ronaldo's the problem. There's even people who think De Gea's the problem. You're a bloody idiot. Absolute idiot. These problems are because we put a team out today full of favourites. We picked players because of favouritism. There was players sat on the bench who deserved to play in three positions ahead of three players, and they didn't get picked because of favouritism. Like, there is a massive problem at that football club, and it is from the top to the bottom. Mates are us. Mates Rates FC, Social Media FC, we're a bloody embarrassment. And where I wanted to start off with this show tonight, because there's loads to get into. I want to talk about Donny. I want to talk about the Ronaldo thing. I want to talk about some of the comments from Rangnick. But the big thing that stood out to me today, as I just read some of your comments, of course Ronaldo is not the problem, but as a player with his ability, he's been appalling this year, Mark, and has to lead the team. No, he doesn't even. No, he doesn't. Because you're making the mistake there. You're making the mistake. You know, next week when you're enjoying the Atletico Madrid trip, then even, I'll remind you why we're still in the Champions League. Because Cristiano Ronaldo's got us into the Champions League single-handedly with goals against Villarreal and Atalanta home and away. So, short memory, isn't it? You know, oh, Ronaldo should be leading the team. Ronaldo should be scoring all the goals. It's all Ronaldo's fault. Bollocks. Absolute nonsense. Grow up and watch a game of football. Ronaldo's fault. He didn't play well. He's not playing well. But he's a man, like everybody else. And you want him to lead the team? Maybe the club should fucking give him the captain's armband then. Maybe you should be aiming your blame at the right place. How is he supposed to lead the team when a certain other player, who shouldn't even be bloody starting, is leading the team? He couldn't lead a pack of ants to a picnic, but he's leading the team. So you want Ronaldo to break ranks and take the captain's armband in the middle of the pitch? Yeah, right. Maybe have a look at what the real issue is at that football club. Lack of service, lack of fluidity. We're like a bloody bunch of strangers, mate. And I know I'm going in on even. I don't mean to. He's got an opinion, and I must remember that. I must try and be calm. But this matters to me. It matters to you. We're like a bunch of strangers. I watch us and we're like a bunch of strangers. If we don't finish top 4, do you think we'll sign players that are not social media FC? No. Sharath Kamath Fitness, they're always going to want to make money. One thing I want to ask, is Ronaldo forcing himself to drop himself that deep to get the ball? Why can't Rashford be bothered to run back to help Delo? Because it's not his job, Machelino. I mean, so now you're blaming him for Rashford's lack of ability to track back. If you're going to watch football and you're going to blame Ronaldo, please bring something constructive to the plate. Because I remember him today helping out Luke Shaw in the last 10 minutes. So, you're getting into things now that you're just going to depress the show and you're going to take us away from big things. Ronaldo should be tracking back to help Delo. I'm not getting into that sort of shit. I want to talk about big things here. So, for me, United are in big trouble. Deep trouble. And I've been saying this for a few weeks. But I think what we've seen against Burnley, and certainly today, when I looked at that Southampton team, fluidity is absolutely a problem for Manchester United. Now, it's well known that players in that first team, some of them don't like each other. It's well known. You know that's the case. There's dressing room unrest, and there's been dressing room unrest for most of the season. They don't like each other. But Andy Cole and Teddy Sheringham didn't like each other, and we won a treble. So the fact that these players cannot play for each other when they're playing a football match is disgusting. No one's asking you to go out for a curry. You're there to play for Manchester United, and they should be able to play together. They're like a bunch of strangers. When we see a movement, I notice it in the watch-along. Bruno might give it to Pogba, who gives it to Rashford, who puts a cross in, and Ronaldo nearly gets on the end of it. And we go, oh, brilliant, because it's so rare. I watched Southampton today for most of the game, pinging triangles, pass and move, getting shots off. The problem United have got is the board have screwed Rangnick over, and therefore they've screwed the fans over. When I was watching United today, and I go back to what I was saying, amazingly, Manchester United, I wouldn't say we're in a position of strength at the start of January, but Rangnick steadied the ship. We get into January, the January transfer window's open, players want to go, he wants a midfielder, and we go into January and we know we're in a race for top 4, but we're like, we need to use this January transfer window well. We came out, if you look at what we went into January with and what we came out of January with, we actually came out in a weaker position. Donny and Martial went. Obviously the Greenwood thing was out of control, but we then kept players that wanted to go. Dean Henderson, Jesse Lingard, and we actually came out of January with a weaker squad and a worse morale. Well, and that was on the board. And then you look at it today, and it's 1-1, and there's 20 minutes to go. What's Rangnick got on his bench? He's got young, inexperienced players like Mabry and Alanga. He's got old, past-it players like Mata. I mean, Matic wasn't there, to be fair. He's got defenders that aren't going to help him win the game. And then he's got Jesse Lingard, who doesn't even want to be there. So that's Rangnick's option. Hasenhüttl looks behind his bench, and he's got players who want to be part of the squad. Southampton, for whatever their weaknesses are, they're a team, and Burnley are a team. Every other team in this league, bar Newcastle, they're into month 6th, and they know how they're playing, and they know what they're doing. And this is the disadvantage we've got now. If you think about it, since Rangnick came into the club, we've mainly played teams in the bottom half. Newcastle, Norwich, Southampton, Burnley, we've got Watford, we've got Leeds. We've mainly played teams in the bottom half. And they are playing against us for long periods of the game with fluidity and teamwork. Because they know each other. They might be Southampton, they might be Burnley, but they know what they're doing and they're working for each other. Man United are like a bunch of strangers. And Rangnick has got a bunch of strangers who are basically a bunch of kids who act like children, arguing amongst each other. And then he looks on the bench and he's got one of the most disjointed benches I've ever seen. He's got people who should be playing above other people, like Lindelof and Tellez. He's then got Lingard, who doesn't want to be here. And then he's got old people like Mata that are past it, and young people who are only just starting their careers in Elanga and Maybury. And Cavani, who if he can be asked, will be on the bench, but if he's not feeling it, won't be on the bench. It's a bloody mess. You've got Martial playing well for Sevilla. You've got Donny van de Beek playing as a holding midfielder, putting in a fantastic performance for Everton, whilst we're watching Scott McTominay run the midfield, and I say run in the loosest possible term, and we've got Ronaldo up front, who basically did need subbing off today, whilst Martial's in Sevilla. It's a bloody mess. It's an absolute shambles, and the reason we are struggling for top 4 is because of that. For some reason, we went into January in an okay position, and instead of strengthening, we weakened ourselves. And this is why we're rubbish, because we're run badly, so badly. I feel sorry for Rangnick. That bench today, I didn't know what he could do. It's David De Gea's fault, says Jaden. He didn't want to play in the FA Cup and boom, hanging out on penalties. De Gea out. Mourinho wasn't given what he wanted. Ollie couldn't figure out his priorities, and Ralph wasn't supported either. Good luck winning anything under the Glazers, says D. Coincidence that Cavani and Ronaldo are playing badly. Van de Beek bossed the midfield, yet we were told he ain't good enough. Shambles, disgusted Cesare. I'm going to talk about Van de Beek in a minute. It's a cocktail of negatives: abysmal board owners, overrated players, and zero football vision as a club. I'm willing to do another 3 years if Ten Hag, Poch competing again, says Daniel Sharper. We're in a massive... Look, it's only my opinion. I think we're screwed. I don't want to say we're finished because things can be changed, but, you know, you're right. It's a cocktail of failure. You know, it really is. The owners are abysmal. The board are useless unless they're making money. I don't rate the director of football because he's been recruited in-house. I don't rate Darren Fletcher because why would you? He's got no CV. I don't rate a lot of the coaches because they're coaches from the Ollie era. And basically, Rangnick's had to call in favours from people that he wouldn't normally have gone for, but he's in the middle of the season. It's a shit show. And that's why we're getting a shit show. But I tell you what, I'm worried. People keep talking about March. I'm thinking about March and April because Southampton, I know Rangnick came out and said XG, we should have won the game. And look, Ronaldo should have scored. And Luke Shaw said after the game, you know, if we take our chances early on, we win the game. The only chance really was the Ronaldo one. And that would have been 1-0. And maybe Southampton would react to 1-0. You know, I know some footballers are thick, but... And I know some football fans are thick. And, you know, sometimes I'm a bit thick. You know, we all get it wrong. But you know what? I don't believe Rangnick's XG. And I don't believe Luke Shaw when he says, if we'd taken our chances, we put the game to bed. I've seen people on social media saying, we're all over them, we could have put the game to bed. When? When could we have put the game to bed? I only really remember, and there's probably one or two others, but I remember Ronaldo should have scored. And then Sancho did score. And I know Sancho had another chance, but he messed that up. It was a good save by Forster, but there was another defender there. He should have slipped Ronaldo or Rashford in, and he didn't do it. But am I the only one who knows how United work? We don't go and score 3-0 and end the game. If Ronaldo had scored that goal, we would have thought we'd won the game. We would have backed off again, and they would have got their goal. You know, just because we should have scored 2, what about somebody said if we took our chances, we would have smashed them. They had more shots than us. We had more on target, but that shows how wasteful Southampton were. They had as many shots on goal as we did. And Rangnick can talk about XG. I know what XG is, but I don't need to know what XG is because I know for a fact Southampton were the better team for more than half the game at our place. We didn't deserve to win the game. In a million years, we didn't deserve to win that game. I wish we had, but we didn't deserve to win the game. And we can't come out and say we deserve to win it because we didn't. We should have done. But my major concern is that most of the teams we've played... In fact, I'm going to do it while we're live here. Julian says, Ronaldo should not have moved to the Premier League at 37. Look, Julian, Pep Guardiola wanted him at 37. He would have scored 30 goals for Man City. It's a hypothetical, but he did want him, and he would have smashed in loads of goals. He's playing in a shit side. Same as Cavani. He's got the same problems. He's not playing well. I would have subbed him off today. But to put it on him, you're an idiot. Lampard raved Donny's passing, technical skills, playmaking and defending as a 6, yet he couldn't play games. We're going to talk about Donny, Joey. You misread my super chat, says Marcelino. If Ronaldo is dropping to get the ball, there is no excuse for Rashford not to help Delo. Exactly, Marcelino. I apologise for that. Maguire isn't the reason we're doing bad. You need to understand that, says Josu. Yeah, okay, mate, whatever. We see Salah and Sterling miss chances, but difference is both teams create plenty of chances. I think that's probably one of the comments of the night so far, Kay. And funny how we've become shit since social media has become prominent. Coincident? I think not, says Arjun. I love that comment from Kay. I used to talk about this with Martial and Cavani last year, and I'm very glad that Kay has reminded me of it. We are so shit as a football team. Listen to this. We are so shit as a football team that when Ronaldo misses a chance, or Cavani misses a chance, or Bruno misses the chance like he did against Middlesbrough when he hit the post, everyone remembers it. I remember against PSG, the year that they was it last year? It was last year, wasn't it? PSG in the group stage. It was the game where Fred got sent off. Martial missed a big chance at the start of the second half and everyone went mad. And I said, yeah, he should score it. But how many more chances did we create? Liverpool and Man City, Sterling will miss a chance, but he'll get another 3 chances within 10 minutes. Ronaldo did miss the chance today and he should have scored it. But you're almost evidencing how shit we are, because you're like, oh, if Ronaldo had scored that, we might have won. Yeah, we might have won, but we might not have won, because Southampton still had more shots than we did. If you want to win games, give Ronaldo 3 or 4 chances. Give Bruno 3 or 4 chances. We don't do that because we don't create enough chances that are clear cut. So I think it's a great point by Kay. But look, let's have a look at our last few league games. So we've played today against Southampton, bottom half of the table. Burnley, bottom half of the table. We've played Villa, bottom half of the table or mid-table. Brentford, bottom half of the table. West Ham, okay, they weren't. They're in the top 6. December, we played Burnley again, bottom. We played Newcastle, bottom half of the table. Norwich, bottom half of the table. Crystal Palace, bottom half of the table. So Rangnick has only played one team out of all his Premier League games that are not in the bottom half or mid-table, and that was West Ham. Does that not worry you? Who have we played off the park in Rangnick's era? We are improving, but we've played the vast majority of our Premier League games have been teams from the mid to the bottom of the table. Do you think we're going to be all right when we start playing Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Spurs, Arsenal, even Leicester's? You know, they're not doing that well. I think we're the way we're playing at the moment, I think we'll get smashed. I actually think today was the first game we've played where I went, but we're not unlucky. We weren't unlucky today. We weren't the best team today. You know, or should not have moved to the Premier League at 37. He bottles Simple's pal, Julian. I'm not. I want to talk about Manchester United, mate. I don't want this to turn into your obsession with Cristiano Ronaldo. As I said, and I will talk about it in a minute. If you think Cristiano Ronaldo is the problem, you're a problem. You don't understand football. Like, all right, I'll do you a favour, right? Cristiano, we don't. Yeah, I know you're a legend. Yeah, we've got to let you go, mate. I know. Yeah, I know, single-handedly got us into the Champions League, yeah. One of the greatest players ever. Yeah, probably going for a bit of... I know, mate, trust me, I'd keep you. You're going through a bad patch, I accept it. But no, they don't want you to go. They don't want you to go. Yeah, because they think that if you go, everything's going to be okay. Alexander Isak, some lad from Benfica. Yeah, apparently everything's going to get loads better when you're gone. Yeah, I'm with you, mate. Yeah, well, I'm not going to say that. It's not very nice, but yeah. Okay, see you later, mate. It's not going to be the case. It's just not going to be the case. If you think Cristiano Ronaldo is the problem and the only problem, I wouldn't even say he's in the top 5 problems at Manchester United. Well, he's clearly not if you want to make it into the whole lot. But Harry Maguire can piss off. The midfield can piss off. We need a new winger. They're just 3 massive issues for United. I've always been on about holding midfielder, and I think Maguire's a massive problem now as well. People who need to leave: Rangnick, Ronaldo and De Gea, says Jaden. You're a twat. And 7 players away, just after squad good enough. Benjamin, you know what? You can all have your own opinions, of course. I'm only joking. But the reality is, if you think the players are the problem, they are the problem because of their attitude. But we ain't winning anything. I don't think we're screwed next season because of the players. I think we're screwed next season because of the owners and the board and the coaches. I think we're screwed. I think we're absolutely screwed because we haven't got the people to put this right, and they're not interested in putting it right. Asanya, thank you very much for subscribing. We are basically, as I said, we're a bunch of strangers. I watch us and I think we are a bunch of strangers. And I think on Tuesday night, I don't know what the result's going to be on Tuesday night. Maybe United will win. We're overdue a win. We're overdue a win, but Brighton are another well-coached side that's well-organised and play for each other. And we don't tend to do that well against teams like that. But maybe we will nick a goal and maybe they won't score and we'll win. I don't know. But on to the biggest embarrassment of... I said maybe we will win. I'm not saying anything else, James. Donny proving Ollie and Fletcher wrong, who thought he could only play number 10. Fergus, I want to talk about Donny van der Beek because the big thing for me is that this... I almost... well, look, I'm not happy. I'm not happy with the situation at the club at all. And this doesn't make me happy about Donny, apart from the fact that I'm happy for him. I watched that game this afternoon. I'm sure many of you did. I know Ricky did because he was messaging me. And I watched it. And, you know, Everton won comfortably against Leeds. Well done. But I just sat there and I didn't have a smile on my face because United was very, very, very fresh after that. But I sat there thinking of all the conversations we've had on the United stand over the last 2 years. I sat there thinking all the times I've tweeted it and people have ridiculed me. He's not even a number 6. You know nothing about Donny van der Beek. And I was like, well, you clearly don't. He played today in a double pivot with Alan. You know, normally they'd play Decore in that role. Or Gomez. They played Donny van der Beek in a double pivot with Alan today. And he was brilliant. He was brilliant. I don't think he was perfect. You know, a couple of times he'd miss a tackle or he didn't pick up a runner. But for somebody, he played today, Donny van der Beek has played more minutes today, Premier League minutes, than he's played for United all season in 5 months. That's disgusting. That is disgusting. But if you didn't watch the game, at half-time, he'd won more aerial duels than anyone on the pitch. He'd won more tackles, he'd played more passes, and he'd had more touches. He had a really, really good game. But remember, he's not match fit because we've not given him any match time. The potential for him to get better is there. And I'm telling you now, he wasn't playing Stockport, he was playing Leeds. And Leeds are a Premier League side. Now, United, for whatever reason, have decided not to use this player. Now, I'm not saying he should be starting for Man United, although on today's performance he probably would. But what I am saying is, it's a disgrace that he's not been given any time this season or an opportunity when we've had to sit and endure Fred and McTominay. You watch that Everton game today and you would be like, how has he not been given time or a chance over Fred and McTominay? And that's all anybody wanted. That's all anybody wanted and he wasn't given it. And I was watching Donny today and I was like, this is not surprising to me. It's justification for everyone who said he could do it. But it doesn't surprise me because it only evidences yet again the complete incompetence and weird behaviour of Manchester United. I just cannot understand what they are doing. And today was a prime example. Lindelof should have started. He came out of the team because of a personal emergency. He came back. Maguire was shit. He still didn't get his place. Maguire was shit on Tuesday. He still doesn't get his place. Donny van der Beek played really well today in a position where many United fans felt he should have been given a chance. He's never been given a chance. He plays well today and shows he can do it, but he never got a chance over McTominay and Fred. There is weird behaviour at that club. Maguire keeping Lindelof and Bailly out. Fred and McTominay keeping Donny out. You know, Rashford keeping Alanga and Lingard and others out and Martial. It's just weird in that football club. We pick favourites, and this is why fans talk about favourites, and it does annoy some fans, but the vast majority call it out for what it is. We pick certain people for no other reason than favouritism, because these people go off other places and play well, or when they get a chance they play well. How many times have we seen Eric Bailly have to play for United over the last 3 years because we've got an injury? And he'll play against someone like Chelsea, he'll be man of the match, but then Maguire or Lindelof will be fit and Bailly's back on the bench. There's a weird mentality in Manchester United where they pick these favourites. And Donny van der Beek today completely sat the club down again. We've had leaks about him not being physical enough for the Premier League. Like, I don't trust United coaches. I don't trust their scouts. We're not successful as a club. So why would we listen to their leaks? We don't obviously employ very good people because it's embarrassing. And look, it doesn't mean Donny's going to be a rip-roaring success. But I'm telling you today, if you watch that game, you would be like, what? Oh, the only thing you should come out with, I mean, some people will say he should be starting for United. He's brilliant. He's one of the best holding midfielders in Europe. I'm not even going that far. Maybe he will become that. I don't know. But Lampard today played him in a holding midfield position with Alan as a midfield pivot. And he played the role really, really well. And I'm looking forward to seeing him play there over the next few weeks for Everton. Because the sad thing is, we need one. We've needed one all season and we've not given him a chance. He played that position against Watford in the second half of the game that Ollie got sacked. He came on for McTominay, he scored a goal, and he could have set Ronaldo up 3 times. And I just don't get it. I really don't. Another thing that winds me up, I don't have a problem with an English core if they are the best in England. These lot are nowhere near the best even on their streets, says Kay. And how come Frank realises the high potential of Van der Beek but not Ollie for 2 years? Ollie and the other 4 yes men are exposed today. Mate, Pratik, you're absolutely correct. Whether you watch that game or not, Donny van der Beek today has embarrassed Manchester United. Absolutely embarrassed them. Because he's shown that he... And you know the best thing that he did? What I really liked about what he did? He got the ball and he passed it forward and moved. And he moved the ball efficiently forward and then moved himself. It was just what we bought him for. This was the player that excited me when he was at Ajax. Just very intelligent on the ball, give and go, one touch, his positional sense was brilliant. He didn't actually make that many tackles, but what he did do, he was constantly getting back alongside Alan, protecting his fullback and his centre-back and positioning himself in a place where Leeds couldn't exploit or get at the back four. I thought it was a good performance and I look forward to seeing it more, although if he keeps carrying on like that, it's just going to become more and more confusing why we didn't use him. Mark, thinking Donny is good after one game and better than Fred and McTominay when he can't even get in our squad. I think I've just literally explained that, Josu. I'm absolutely stunned that we haven't used him. I'm not saying he should be starting, but he should have been given more game time. And I know you're trying to be clever, but mate, you're sitting yourself down in front of 12,000 people. You didn't watch the game, did you? He played really well today in a Premier League game for Everton, and he never got a chance at United. And that's what I'm saying. And to be honest with you, I think Fred's bang average as a holding midfielder, and I think McTominay's bang average as a holding midfielder. But what makes me laugh is the amount of people, United fans, coaches, press, saying Donny van der Beek's not a holding midfielder, he can't play in a pivot. Well, he clearly can. He clearly can, because he's just done it. So, maybe understand and do a bit of research on the player that we actually bloody bought instead of thinking, well, he must be shit in training. How many players were coming out saying they couldn't understand why Donny van der Beek wasn't getting game time? There you go. Anyway, do you think the board realise that the eyes will strictly be on then if things don't get better? People won't accept this going on forever, says Benjamin. Mate, my eyes are wide open that we're in big, big trouble over the next 18 months. I think next season's going to be worse than this season. I'll come back to what I said. I remember saying before we played Burnley, we had Burnley, Southampton, Brighton, Leeds and Watford. So 15 points. And I said we've got to take at least 12. Anything less and we're in trouble. We're already in trouble, because even if we win the next 3, it's 11 points. So we are in big trouble in the race for top 4. We've massively opened up the door. Arsenal are a point behind us with 2 games in hand. We've got to go to the Emirates as well. So we're in big trouble. We're in big, big trouble. We can still get top 4, but we are in big trouble. There's just a huge, huge problem at United, and it's running all the way through. It's incompetence, and that's what it is. And incompetence for me isn't just... Well, what does incompetence mean to you? To me, it just means that you're not good. You're not good enough. If you're incompetent, you're not good enough. That's what it is. The owners aren't good enough. The board isn't good enough. The recruitment isn't good enough. The training is not good enough. And the players are not good enough. And unfortunately, I just don't think it's going to improve. And I think there's too many clubs that are improving. Sancho, Bruno, Pogba, Ronaldo, and maybe Rashford would have loved to have Donny in the midfield today instead of McTominay, says Jamesy. Yeah, look, I think that I'd go back to what I said. For some reason, Manchester United went into the January transfer window and brought us out. It's almost like sabotage. I've looked at the bench the last couple of games and I've gone, what the hell has happened to our bench? I used to look at the bench and go, wow, there's loads of people on there, because Donny was always there. Obviously, Tellez is half decent. Lindelof's been there, and you've normally got a Matic there. You've normally got a Martial there, a Cavani there. That bench now is terrifying. And the reality is, what teams are you going to pick against Brighton? He's going to have to go with the same 11 again, and then it's going to be a similar type of bench. I do feel sorry for Rangnick. I do, because I think he really wants this job, and he wants the long-term effect. I mean, he came out with a cracking line today. He said, we can't press like Southampton because we're not a pressing team. And to be a pressing team, you need a pre-season. And Southampton are a pressing team because that's their plan from pre-season. We can't press like them because we haven't had a pre-season, and you can't. You know, your pre-season is about getting you through the next 9 months and getting your energy levels to be able to play a certain brand of football. We came into this season trained to be pragmatic and a counter-attacking team, which is probably why Rangnick played counter-attacking football today. CM says Ronaldo needs to take responsibility for that performance. I mean, look, I'm going to talk about Ronaldo now, but I've got to say, I'm so frustrated with it. I cannot get on board with this. I can admit he's not playing well, but I thought our fan base was more intelligent than this. I really hoped that we were. I cannot understand people who are going, Ronaldo's the problem. I'm like, God, your football knowledge is abysmal. Like, it's so bad. How can we spend half an hour talking about how badly the club is run, how bad the dressing room is, how so many players aren't good enough to play for Manchester United, and we've got some of our fans who genuinely think Ronaldo is the problem? Like he's getting 20 chances a game and, you know, purposely booting them into the Stretford end. He had one chance today he should have scored. It was before Sancho had scored. It would have been 1-0 if he'd scored it. And I guarantee you Southampton still would have equalised and we'd still be sat here talking about this now. Ronaldo's not playing very well at the moment. I know that. Is he the problem in the team? If you gave me 3 wishes, if a genie came out now, if I rubbed my lamp and a genie came out and said you can have 3 wishes to change that team now, Ronaldo's still starting on Tuesday. Not because he didn't play well today, but I'm taking McTominay out for a good holding midfielder, I'm taking Maguire out for a good centre-back, and I'm taking Rashford out for a good winger. So Ronaldo still starts for me. So for me, he's the 4th problem, potentially. But people want to make out he's the main problem. And I'm like, we're not one player away from winning the title, like, ladies and gentlemen. We're not. I don't understand. You know, even if it was somebody saying Harry Maguire's the problem. But, well, he is. But he's not the problem. He's not picking himself, or at least we hope he's not. This runs deep. I'm not going to tell you to do it, but go and watch Liverpool tomorrow and tell me that Ronaldo's the problem, or Harry Maguire's the problem, or Scott McTominay's the problem, or Marcus Rashford's the problem. It's more than 4 players. It's about 9 across the squad. Our bench is not strong anymore. Ralph Rangnick turns round today with 10 minutes to go to try and win the game, and he's bringing Jesse Lingard on, who doesn't want to be here. So your destiny in a game you need to win, you're telling a player to go on and win the other game who's been forced to stay here. That's how messed up it is at United. We're sending a player on who doesn't want to be here. And yeah, he's been here since he was a kid, and I'm sure he wants to score a goal in front of the Stretford end and do a little dance and show everybody, you know, I'm Jesse Lingard, I'm great. And I know Jesse would want to do that. But it's not the best player to be sending on, is it? You know, he doesn't really want to be here. And we're sending him on to try and save our season top 4 hopes. It's not ideal. But that's what Rangnick's options are. It's either him or Hannibal Mabry, who's hardly ever played at all. So, or Juan Mata, who, let's be honest, is past it. So the options are abysmal. They really, really are. There's massive problems. I'm not for 1 minute saying that Ronaldo's not a problem. He is a problem at the moment. I'm not blind. But it's when people want to say he's the problem. And I go, nah, you're the problem. Because if you're trying to... You're a Glazer's wet dream, basically. I know that's not a nice thought, but if you're pinning this on Ronaldo, you're basically a Glazer sympathiser, because they'll love that. They'll be like, oh yeah, he can take the blame. Everything else is fine. But it's not. People need to grow up. It's not just Maguire. It's not just McFred. It's not just Rashford. It's not just Ronaldo. It's not just whatever you think is the problem. The problem is the ownership, through to the board, through to recruitment, through to coaching, through to the playing squad. It's a 5-layered cake. And I think we're at the point now where if we don't change at least 5... Well, I think we need to change all 5. I think we need better owners. I think we need a better board. I think we need better recruitment. I think we need better coaches. And I think we need a better squad. Getting rid of Ronaldo is the worst thing you can do. Because getting rid of Maguire is the worst thing you can do. Because that will not make us have better coaches, better recruitment, a better board, and better owners. So if I've got 5 problems, owners, board, recruitment, coaches, players, which one do you change that could potentially change a lot of the others. All right, Ronaldo's gone. Still got crap owners, still got crap boards, still got crap recruitment, still got crap coaches, but Ronaldo's gone. The Glazers have gone. Well, I don't like this board, they can go. I want better coaches, I want better players. Now you're thinking, the only way we're going to change this multifaceted problem at United is by owners. Yeah, I accept some of the players ain't good enough, but they ain't them. We're picking players. We're picking players that shouldn't be being picked. Like, we've got better players on the bench, and yet certain players are being picked. That's not going to change unless we change why that's happening. Look, I've had it with some of those players. I'm fed up of them. They've had loads of opportunities. They're not good enough. They're basically just social media influencers. But I ain't going to sit here and start saying Harry Maguire's the problem, even though I don't think he should have started today. I'm not going to start here and say McFred's the problem or Rashford's the problem, even though I think McTominay and Rashford shouldn't have started today. To be fair, McTominay should have started today because Fred and Matic weren't available, and he's the best we've got in that position. That's on the board for not getting the midfielder that Rangnick wanted. Lingard coming on today wasn't ideal and he didn't do anything, but that's on the board for making him stay. The players are not good enough. Absolutely 100%. But if we're going to keep pretending as a fan base that we're a good striker and a good centre-back away from winning the league, you're a fool. You may as well get a t-shirt saying Glazers in, because you're basically verifying their ownership. This is no longer about being 2 players away from winning a league. I'll tell you now, we're not 5 players away from winning the league. We're about 8 players away from winning the league. And if you want a good bench, we're 10 away from winning the league. 10 very good players. And then you need a really good coach. And then you need a really good director of football, because you need to keep maintaining that squad. We ain't never doing that under this ownership. So you can start moaning about get rid of this player, get rid of that player, but it's gone past that. It went past that probably 4 years ago. We had this 4 years ago with certain players. It probably was before that. Get rid of Pogba, get rid of Mkhitaryan. We've been down this road, and the Glazers like this road because we argue amongst ourselves. This is no longer about the players. Look, some of them players are crap. As I said, I'm not protecting the players in any way. Some of them are crap and they shouldn't be wearing the shirt. But this ownership is not going to get rid of them, and it's not going to bring enough players in for us to win the league. So we need new owners that will. That's what we need, and it won't happen. Donny van der Beek playing against Leeds was a bit of an irony. His previous manager always likes someone who runs. Nevertheless, Dan James has improved a lot as well, says Pratic. I'd play Lingard ahead of Rashford right now. He wants to get in the England squad and get a good move in the summer. I just don't think he's good enough, William. I don't. Mark, your thoughts on Van der Beek? I've spoken about it, Ram. I thought he played really, really well. It's one game, but it's amazing. It's another amazing mistake from Manchester United. But all it really does is just evidence how incompetent our club is. That we've had this player that we haven't used for 2 years. He goes to Everton. He plays his first 90 minutes of the season, and he's almost man of the match for Everton. He had and he's playing in the midfield too. That many people were like, well, the reason he doesn't get picked instead of McTominay and Fred is because he's not a midfielder, Mark. He's a number 10, and that's why he doesn't get picked, because Bruno's better than him. He doesn't play as a number 8 or a number 6 because that's not where he plays. And then he's played 90 minutes for Everton and really well, and he'll play again. Other than the bigger picture, it feels like there's 2 teams in our first team. A group of decent players who almost resent carrying a group of mediocre players. Nick P, I think that's a very good analysis. We are a team of strangers, and we play like a team of strangers. And what disappoints me the most is that Hasenhüttl said it. He said that we know that United are not very good in reverse gear, and that means they're not very good when we get at them. I think Shea Adams said, we know that their weak point is after half time. This is a Premier League football club that, has exposed a massive weakness. But, there's no leadership on the pitch. There isn't any leadership on the pitch. I don't know if we gave Ronaldo the captaincy that would change, because ultimately there's a lot of players that just don't get on with each other. I don't think Ronaldo respects some of those players, and I don't think they respect him. There's clearly a breakdown. and it's clearly very divisive. But, you know, that's another example. You know, some people would say, well, this is why we shouldn't have bought Ronaldo. Oh, yeah, let's not buy Ronaldo because then that'll make people who are shit happy. They'd still be shit. Like, we'd still have the same problem. You know, if we didn't have Ronaldo, we'd still have the same crap players that we know aren't good enough. So, you know, there's a huge issue there. And I tell you what, it's not going to get solved by Pochettino or any other manager. I hate to say it, but I've been saying it for a few weeks now. I think the next 18 months for United are going to be bad, really bad, because I think the better players will leave and we'll be stuck with the players that we don't really want here, trying to build a future. And they ain't good enough. They're just not good enough. So, you know, I wasn't shocked by the performance today. You know, Southampton gave us it was a 50-50 game at times. Sometimes Southampton were better than us. So, you know, that's our level, isn't it? Southampton coming to Old Trafford, we've got 75,000 fans and we still can't dictate the game. We're going to struggle. And I think potentially we'll struggle against Brighton. The least we can do is try and get 9 points from the next 3 games, because these are the last 3 games playing bottom half of the table sides. You know, it's Watford, Brighton and Leeds. We've dropped so many points. Taking 2 points from Burnley and Southampton is just shocking. It really is. Other than the bigger picture, it feels like there's 2... Oh, we've done that one. And if we wouldn't have Ronaldo, we wouldn't have any striker today, says Arjun. And this is extremely sad since I stopped being involved in football for years and got back into a total mess of a team, says Isma. United need to make bad players good. We make good players bad. Thought, says Matthew Lamy. I just think that, you know, and it's been said so many times before by so many different people, from top to bottom, that club is broken. The only positive thing about that football club is you. Our fan base is so loyal and it's so engaged and it's so passionate. But the actual football itself is a shell. It's a shell. They've run it into the ground, and I feel sorry for any United fan that isn't old enough to remember what it was like to be managed by Sir Alex Ferguson, because that was Manchester United for me. That's what Manchester United was all about. The way we played, the focus on winning. You know, we went out to play good football and entertain the fans, and we haven't been trying to do that for a very long time. We've got a lot of players who are have self-inflated egos, who aren't good enough to wear the shirt. We've got owners who bought us just to make money. We've got board members who haven't got a bloody clue what they're doing. They're just bankers. There's arrogance running through that club. There's people in jobs who have got jobs just because they used to play for the club, or, you know, it's every kind of incompetence that you don't want in your football club. And it, you know, the team is a reflection of the ownership at the end of the day. Everybody's so driven by money and social media and interactions, and we've just totally and utterly took our eye off the ball of what really matters. Fans are not interested in winning Team FC. You know, they're not. Sad, but, you know, we just got to ride it out. That's what supporting a team is. But you know, I really think it's going to get worse over the next 18 months. As I said, we still might get fourth. We still might get fourth because, you know, it just depends how good Spurs, Arsenal and West Ham are. We might get fourth this year, but I think next season it's going to be the same old shit, fighting for fourth. I cannot see us. We're not. I already know we're not going to be anywhere near Chelsea, Liverpool and Man City next season. No chance. And at some point, Liverpool are going to get number 20. And then they're level with us on league titles. Anyway, look, I'm back in the morning. I just wanted to do like a bit of an update show this evening. I hope that things get better at United, but I fear they're going to get worse because the club is a shambles from top to bottom, and it's fractured and it needs major surgery. But all they want to do is put a plaster on it. Thanks everyone for watching. Final super chat. I don't get why everyone is so bad when they join United, but be outstanding when they leave. Says Malik. Well, that's not actually true. There's a lot of shit players that leave that aren't that good. Schneiderlin, you know, people like that. We bought a lot of shit. The challenge is we can't change the owners. The club is their asset, not ours. All that can practically change the coaches and the players, which they won't want to do, Humphrey. You know, I'm not naming names, but there was 3 players who started today who never should have started, and I'll still go to bed tonight absolutely confused how they were starting when there was 3 better players on the bench. And my only explanation is they're not as high profile. they're not favourites. Because on ability, 3 players on the bench should have started ahead of 3 players in the starting lineup. And that'll probably happen on Tuesday as well. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Smash a like on the video. And I'll speak to you all in a bit.